2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and stop. To the side. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and stop. Hands up. Reach down. 1, 2, 3. To your right, to your left, center, inhale, exhale. Hands up, reach down. 1, 2, 3. To your right, to your left, center, inhale, exhale. Okay, lift up, reach down. 1, 2, 3. To your right, 2, 3. To your left, 2, 3. Center, inhale, exhale. Hands on your waist, circular movements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Okay, center, reverse. We reverse. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Okay. Cross knees. Circular movements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Switch hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Center. Hands on your waist, neck turning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Back and forth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Center, tilt to the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Center down. Circle movements. 1, 2, 3. Reverse. 1, 2, 3. Center. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, spread your feet. Turning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, and stop. Turn. Stretch out. Switch. 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 Switch, straighten front knee. Switch. 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 Okay, center. one side. Shake it out. Okay, ready? Deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, hands and waist. Shoulder roll. Reverse. Okay, press, release, exhale, inhale. And stop. Hands up. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, wrist. Reverse. Hey, Paul. Early today. Okay, palms down. And okay, shake it out, side to sides. And center. Okay, insert needle. And switch. center. Okay, leg swing. Switch. Okay, center, side to side. Switch. And shake it out. Inhale, deep breathing. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, so grilling. Switch. close. Shoulder height. Elbows down. Okay. palms down, straighten up. Okay, fingertips down, pointing. Okay, deep breathing. Okay, diagonal flying. Okay, let's lead this to closing movements. Again. This right side diagonal flying. Okay, left side diagonal flying. Step up, press forward, stalk flaps wings, sink. Okay, again, diagonal flying. Okay, sit back. Insert needle. Step up. Sit back. Pivot front foot. Pivot the rear foot. Lift the hands. Elbows up. Turn the body. Okay, try that again. Diagonal flying. Left side diagonal flying. Pivot to turn. Pull the foot in, check your weight. Insert the needle. Step forward. Sit back, adjust the front foot. Shift the weight forward, adjust the back foot. Lift the elbows, fan to the back, and square the torso. Okay, want to try one more time? Diagonal flying. Sit back. Insert the needle. Fan to the back. Adjust. Okay, now we should be in the stance, horse stance, turn. Stroke down. Invert the hand, turn the torso, sink the elbow and legs, square the body to the front, parry and punch. Okay, let's try fan through the back again. Turn, parry and punch. Sink the elbows and knees, twist the body from the spine. So when we're here, the forward hand goes down, as it approaches your body, you close and sink. Turn the torso, parry and punch. So in the forward position, this is dropping. Drop the elbow, sink the elbow, parry and punch. Okay, so the process is 1, 2, 3, 4. It's done with a closed fist, so you stroke down, invert as you sit back, turn as you set up the hands, drop your elbow, and square the body to the window side. Okay, shake it out. Deep breathing. Substantial and insubstantial is what we're, building. Solid and empty, transition in the legs, one leg at a time. And then it becomes one hand, one leg, one hand, one leg. And eventually it's a blend of upper-lower coordination. Okay, cloud hands. Single whip. Okay, cloud hands. Toe heel. Heel, toe. Toe heel. Heel pivot, turn the torso, shift your weight. Toe heel, pivot, shift. Toe heel, open, shift. Toe heel, pivot. Okay. That's because it's so loud. Yeah, it's over there. Okay, try that again. Testing 1, 2. This is feedback. Okay, so solid and empty. Everyone understand what solid and empty is? Solid is the side that's weighted. That becomes a solid foot. This becomes an unweighted foot. Whichever foot is the solid foot becomes the substantial. And the insubstantial is the one that's light. So light foot is the one that pivots. So the conflict in motion would be having the weight in the wrong place. Right? Okay, so when you're in a solid position, you're here. This is your solid leg, the one that's supporting you. Because that's the reason why when you're in a single whip, we move to here. And then you check your weight. You settle in the front leg to keep that leg substantial. Then as you begin to open, this remains solid. And then when the toe touches, you start to transition across, and then you start to pivot. So that's while the hands are moving. So in a single whip position, you sink the elbow, relax the shoulder, you open the stance, and you twist the body until you unwind. When you get the opposite corner, the hand turns out, and you square the torso. You drop the hand and you begin to turn your torso, and you may feel a little shifting of the weight this way because this is the center of mass change. When the hands exchange in this position, then you start to unwind. When the body reaches a certain point, the foot starts to follow. Then you shift your weight, this becomes solid. Toe, sink down, heel. So then you settle up and down with the hands. Then you pivot again. Then you turn the hips. Now this is the solid leg again. You step out, open the torso, begin to shift, begin to turn, begin to follow. Shift, toe, heel, turn, shift, open. Now if we're going to single whip, it would be this. So that's the same transition from grass to sparrow's tail. But you open before you turn. You turn beyond center, so you turn the hand out, and then you reset your shoulders. So not only is it solid and empty, it is open and close, expand, contract. So the closing and opening has to do with, this is closing, this is opening. So this would be closing and opening. So this is a phenomena, a principle. So as if in the long form we did this, we would hold the ball first, then you would follow the same procedure. 1, 2, but here, we're in the solid position, we turn and turn. Toe, heel. So that's how we can differentiate between the solid, empty, and the sort of the additional body mechanics in the long form. So in this position, we step out. The upper and lower coordination is when the hands are timed as a passive active motion. Then when we turn to here, we can either go to single whip or continue. If we shift in long form, we would shift again. And then we turn. And then we turn. So the hand would go like this. It would go like this. Sink and turn. Sink and turn. Sink, adjust, open, and center. So a lot of control, but you have to kind of understand potentially what you need to do. Each leg moves, there's a differentiating between the hands and the legs, but eventually the whole body will recognize conceptually what should happen. Then you build the timing. So the form is only a vehicle for us to sort of house the different postures. But the mechanism of the posture has to be focused on to develop the individual transition within a posture. Then when it's developed, it goes back into the form with that same approach. But it doesn't happen to all the postures simultaneously because you're only going to work one at a time. So that's like grass to sparrow's tail, single whip. Then you have your brush knees and so forth. So that's a concept we have to understand as solid and empty, which really changes the perspective of our footwork. So if you practice this for balance and coordination, first you have to recognize what coordination is. Coordination is the integration of body. The hands are really your arms, your upper appendages. The legs or your feet, footwork, so forth, are from the bottom up. So that's your lower half. That's your legs. So what do we mean by legs and arms? It's the joints, the wrists, the elbow, the shoulder on both sides, the 6 joints, the hips, the knees, and the ankles, another 6 joints. So those 12 joints have to integrate and coordinate as an upper-lower coordination. So coordination is a bilateral relationship where this side works with this side works with this. So this hand like this. That's bilateral relationship, right? Because the brain, the 2 hemispheres of the brain have to work and talk to each other. That's what essentially happens. So when we do things like this, because it's paired together, the brain can function and understand it simply because it's doing the same thing. And anybody can follow this. It's when you do this, 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 and this that it gets confused. Because now this is doing this and this is doing this. So there's a tremendous benefit to building that cross-lateral coordination, because now your brain talks to each other and it understands what one side is doing, the other side is doing, and that applies to the whole body. Your torso actually has two sides too. It has a right and a left side, but our torso typically is just this one piece. So that's why people don't turn their waist. That's why they don't know how to manipulate the skeletal structure. But, when you bend like this, that's working two sides, right? This side collapses, this side opens. This side collapses, this side opens. When I turn the body, this side pulls, this side follows, or this side pushes and this side follows. So that's just the anatomy and the body and how it moves. So if you know how it moves, then you have to begin to realize how it should move. And then it goes on. All right, deep breathing. Okay, carry tiger to the mountain, to the lower hoop, shoulder height, eye level, palms out. Okay, that's stork flaps wings. Cross arm position in front of the solar plex, midline position, single line. That's your midline or center line. So from here, it crosses to open, cross. Okay. If your hands are like this and the palms like this, it crosses, flip your hand, high pat the horse. Here's your center line. Open and close, right? So when we open and close in high pat the horse, the hands move right to left or left to right, depending on which is on top. But the maneuver doesn't happen from the hands, because you could have a pivot from the shoulder with the arm stiff. Right. But because this is folded, you have to unfold the arms and straighten them. So in high pat the horse, the elbows become the part that you have to drive as manipulation. So when the hands straighten, it's because the elbows are pulling in and straightening. So how does it pull in? Armpits, right? Armpits. Horizontal is open armpits. Horizontal or vertical is closed armpits. So there's another example of opening and closing. When my arms are like this and I go like this, the elbows go in, the elbow straightens, and the armpits close. So that's integration of body, upper body. So that gives you an example. So when you're doing these movements, you have to understand how to create the motion, not just do the motion from what you see with the hands. Because the first time you see high pat the horse, the hands are just going to go like this, uncontrolled. You have to regulate the movement. That's what happens when we cross and fold and lift and open, right? When we cross, fold, and open. So it's really from here to here, not to mention what the torso does when you twist. So this is understanding the body mechanics and the motion, and then you can start to create accuracy of movement and consistency of motion. And it only happens from doing it over and over again. Because as creatures of habit, we have to do the movement till we can discover. So what we think as our intellectual brain, we assume that our body is as smart as our head, what's going on in the head. But actually the body is much more disconnected in the beginning. But as you evolve, the mind and the body really starts to connect through the directing of the brain to the body and the feedback from the body to the brain. And when that cycles back and forth, you build your body intelligence. And when that body intelligence is built, it enters subconscious, and your movements become natural. And anytime you do it, it's the same way. So that's how you avoid, the stress on your joints, on overtaxing one side of your body, and it's all of that as a concept. Now you can take it and understand it, or you can let it go through one ear and just keep doing it the way you've been doing it without any sort of evolution. Okay, so that's carry tiger to the mountain as geometry position, lower hoop. Now we lift up, upside is floating, downside is sinking. So you have to sink your elbows and relax your shoulders. That's a term you hear all the time. In Tai Chi, it's principles and concepts. Right? Sink your elbow, relax. On the downside, sink. So what's on the vertical side? Your torso, your spine. Your spine should be vertical and plumb. So your head and your neck shouldn't be you shouldn't be standing here and kind of looking around. You lose your focus because it's called center line, mi lui zhong jing, right? So the center line is from the top of your head or the mid, all the way down to your tailbone. So you have to align your spine, and then the muscular will set that as an example of what would be twisted and tilted. We only tilt when we do this. We shouldn't tilt when we turn our torso. So the shoulders will be level. So that's something you just have to keep in mind. Okay, then what's next? Infinity sign. Figure 8. What is it? Opening and closing. What's opening and closing, Mara? The pits. It's the pits. There's a commercial on the radio that just talks about pits.
It's bits and pits.
Yeah, okay. Spits and pits?
Bits.
Bits, oh, bits. Yeah. Yeah. Well, they call it spit and swallow. Spit and swallow is when you breathe, inhale and exhale. Okay, so horizontal movement is a figure 8. So when do we sink the elbows? On the downside. When do we float? On the upside. Where does it cross? In front of the shoulders. So if you're doing this like this and then going like this, it's wrong, because the two pedals are not even. So when you're doing a movement like this, it should be even on both sides, consistency. Where does it turn when it gets to here? Here. There's your 45-degree single whip position. What a coincidence. So that's how you know if your movements are precisely using your body as a reference point. Because you could do this all day long and it's in the wrong plane of movement, and then you wonder where single whip is. Single whip is here. Okay. Form the fists. Forward and back. Up, down, left, right, center. Form your fists, pull back, and push. Multi-dimensional motion. Two hands in pairs, virtually no motion in the torso, right? Because it's a pair of movements. So you do them exactly the same, no waist movement, until it becomes one side. Then this becomes the center line. So the right and left should cross right on your midline. Form the fists is front to back. Then you have to twist. That's forward and back. So when you do divert, block, and punch, I form the fist, I draw back, but draw back is a function of your turning of the torso and unwind the spine, right? So that involves twisting. Twisting is rotating your waist. Draw. And punch. So if you have the forward and backward movements as right and left, forward and back, then you have the turning of the body. So turning of the body generally ties to the horizontal rotations, and also can be part of the vertical, but it depends on, the action. So when you form the fist, there's horizontal draw forward and back, and then forward and back. So that becomes an integration of the two sides, forward and back. Right and left becomes this. Right and left, left and right becomes that. So if you integrate the left, the right, the forward, and the back, that becomes divert, block, and punch. So what's important is that you're synchronizing it with the torso and the legs. Forward and back. So when you go forward and back in the Tai Chi shifting of stances, the rear heel has to stay down in the forward direction. When does the heel not stay down is when you want to bring the weight to this foot beyond the 70 or 80% that it normally would have. Now you're 100%. That's the only time you would do that toe thing to here. Forward, and then where? Here. So there's your second shift of weight. Let's say shift and shift, that would be heel and then toe. So these are things that you hear sometimes when I talk you through the form, but do you know actually what's going on? The second shift, the knee is here, but the additional shift is an additional settling in that forward leg. Then you actually become empty on the backside. So that's something you would have to, play around with. It happens in single when we turn. Shift. You see, that's the shift. Toe. Heel. The heel goes down, but it actually still only has very little weight. Otherwise, it wouldn't be able to pivot. Okay. All right. So those are the reasons why we do these drills, because when we do these drills, it's building the patterns for the ability to connect with the legs eventually, so there's a upper-lower coordination. Okay, so let's go to the form. So those are the warm-ups that we practice all the time, right? So short form. Strum the lute. Close the door. Diagonal flying. Step up, form the fist, and punch. Divert, lock, and punch. Carry tiger to the mountain. Bend from the waist, stork flaps wings. Grasp the sparrow's tail. Diagonal flying. Part the horse's mane. Cross over. Cross over. Cloud hands. Single whip. Okay, deep breathing. So sometimes you hear me say that, what your body doesn't know, it doesn't know. And, that's because we adapt to whatever information we feed our body. Then I talk about your wiring in the body and the synapses and so forth. So just for the novice view, a synapse is like a switch. And the wiring is, the neurons and the dendrites and so forth that connect to the muscles and to the brain and, to that information. So the simplest way to look at it is everything just works the same. It's like your electrical circuit in your house. So you put lights in the ceiling and you say they don't come on. Well, that's how the body is. You see these new movements, you say, well, it's supposed to do this. I just put in that light. Why doesn't it work? But you didn't turn the switch on. But the switch doesn't exist in the body until it makes its own. It reconfigures what happens in the brain and the body. But even if you had the switch, if you didn't flick it, it wouldn't turn on. If you had multiple lights that you put on and you wanted them all to come on at one time, you would wire it together. But if you want each light to come on separately, we would put 3 different switches. Well, if you had to move this part of the arm and that part of the arm and this part of the arm at different times, you would need switches, a lot of them. Not one, about 1 trillion of them for your body to do something as complicated as what we do in movement. But the amazing thing is we don't have to add wires and we don't have to add switches. It happens by itself by adapting and recreating what it needs to connect. So any part of your body doesn't move, and you say, well, I can't do that. Well, you have to do it in order for it to happen. Because if you don't do it, the network of that system doesn't connect, or in fact, it goes away if you don't do certain things. So that's called pruning. Your brain will prune out anything it needs, but it will add that brain plasticity and the neurons and all that stuff that goes on in the body, the rewiring. The network is there. It's whether you start to tap into or not, and then, build that next level of, integration. So it is something that exists. It's whether we actually understand that you have to activate it and have to work toward doing it. So those switches are not mechanical switches. It's chemical switches. Those chemicals are produced in the body. So the energy source comes from the energy in your body, the mitochondria. So you need your oxygen and you need your nutrients for the energy or the electricity to go through to make those things happen, and that happens in the muscles. So that's why it's a long process. It doesn't happen overnight. Okay, let's do the long form. Hey, John. Okay, deep breathing. Inhale.